Hello, this is Houston's Guy, and today we will be talking about will he sign or will he walk? The Eli Apple version. Eli Apple is a free agent, and we have not yet to make a contract with him. So, that being said, thank you for watching. This is Houston's Guy. Like I said, Eli Apple is a free agent. He was a great player last year, bouncing back from that terrible Super Bowl performance he had. I'm not going to say costing us a Super Bowl, but he didn't perform well enough to where we had a level to where we could have won the Super Bowl. So, Eli Apple, great corner. He is our corner. I'm pretty sure he's our corner 2 or corner 3 with Chidobe Awuzie out. He is our corner 2, because then it's Mike Hilton, Eli Apple, and then Cam Taylor-Britt, and then Trey Flowers. So, our cornerback rotation I feel like was good, and I feel like it obviously can improve throughout the offseason and the draft, and I believe it will. But Eli Apple is also a believe it or not, a massive piece to the defensive side. So, Eli Apple, he played for the Giants and the Saints previous. We signed him, I believe, in the 2021 offseason, the year we made it to the Super Bowl. So Eli Apple, he tends to talk a lot online. It's very distracting for him and a lot of other players in the organization. And when he talks a lot about other people, like other players that we're about to go up against, it fires up that player and it makes him angry and it makes him pumped up. So, and then it leads to a monster performance from that guy, and then it leads to Eli Apple getting clowned for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the year, because of how much he likes to talk. People like to say he is the Pat Bev of the NFL. I'm not going to argue with that. Obviously, he loves to talk a lot, and I know it's very obvious when he goes to Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. When he likes to talk a lot, he talks a lot on the field, he talks a lot off the field. So that's one thing that it's going to be a very struggle, a thing that he's going to have to control. He's going to have to make sure what he's saying and the players he's saying it to, because if he goes up and says something to like Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp will obviously fire back with the Super Bowl, and then because we play the Rams this year, so then if he talks on Cooper Kupp, then Cooper Kupp will come to our house and then make us look like we did in the Super Bowl. So, Eli Apple, like I said, great guy. One of his best years in his career, one of his best seasons in his career. Without a doubt, he can improve, both on the field and off. Without a doubt, this player obviously can not only help himself, but help the teammates around him and the environment around him. So, I've seen like PFF and stuff like that saying that he's going to go somewhere else like Tampa Bay. I'm not sure that's a good fit, but knowing Tampa Bay and that secondary is very weak. But I feel like Eli Apple's found a home in Cincinnati. I'm not saying it's a long-term home, but I'm saying it's a home long enough for like another 1-year deal, maybe even a 2-3-year deal, to where he can improve. And if we don't like what he's doing with us, we can either trade him or cut him later on in the future if we do sign him to one of those 2-year, 3-year deals. And if he causes too much distraction off the field, it's a thing that we need to address. And when he does, we will probably trade him to a team that wants to handle with that and cut him. So yeah. Another thing that I want to talk about is Joe Mixon. Like I know a lot of people are seeing this. Joe Mixon has been dealing with a lot of legal issues right now, but there's also been a question: will Joe Mixon be cut this offseason? And honestly, with my opinion, in all honesty, I believe he will be. I believe he won't be a Cincinnati Bengal for much longer. Sure, he did great as a Cincinnati Bengal. He won't play another snap with the as a Bengal. Sure he did great with the time as the Bengals. And he did good things for us, and he gave us good seasons. He gave us good games, like that 5-touchdown game in Week 9, I believe it was Week 9 this year. That's a franchise record, most touchdowns in a game. Last year, the year before last year, or not this season, but the year after that, the year before that, our Super Bowl year, he played great. He was a huge piece and a huge reason why we made the Super Bowl that year. I feel like if we do cut Joe Mixon, it'll free up a lot of cap space and a lot of more opportunities for the players around Joe Mixon to get an opportunity on the roster or on the field, more time. Like Samaje Perine played great in the time they played for us. Samaje Perine is a great I believe if we do cut Mixon, I believe we will draft the running back. But I'm not saying that running back will have the starting job for off the bat. He'll have to fight with Samaje Perine and maybe Chris Evans. Maybe can even be contender for the running back one spot. He's more of a receiving back, and that's what I feel like that's what we need right now. But also we also need blocking, so that's what Samaje Perine brings to us when we are like on a third, like in a third down situation. Samaje Perine usually on the field, and when we go into the single, it helps, and that gets one more additional blocker to where Burrow has enough time to get rid of the ball. So that's also another big question heading into the offseason. Like I said, Eli Apple and Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, like I said, in my opinion, should be cut. It would free up a lot of cap space, and leading to the cap space, it would lead to Joe Burrow's extension. Joe Burrow is going to be looking for extension, like I said in my previous video. Joe Burrow he's probably gonna explore the 5th-year option if he can't get an extension. Hopefully, we get an extension to him before Lamar Jackson gets one, because then if that says something like Joe Burrow's like, I've taken this team to the Super Bowl, I think I deserve more money, that'll really hurt us in the future when we need to re-sign Jamar Chase, or we need to re-sign Tyler Boyd, Logan Wilson, all those other really big players that we need going on into the future. So yeah. With that being said, this team, and I've already said this multiple times, but this team won't look the same anymore heading into next year. Hayden Hurst, I'm probably going to do a video on him, but Hayden Hurst is a free agent. Free agent that is a heavily liked free agent around the league. We loved him as a Bengal, and I believe his time is up as a Bengal, sadly, as sad as it is. We will probably draft a tight end in the first round of the draft. And, the draft is going to be a very large piece to what happens this offseason and what happens in the next season, when we need to address these 3 positions. Cornerback, more depth in the cornerback position, like I already talked about. Offensive lineman, like I've said before, this team was 1 lineman away short from winning a Super Bowl, and a tight end. Tight end. If we signed Hayden Hurst, I'm saying just go get a tight end anyways. Go get Michael Myers or something like that. Go get a good tight end for the future when Hayden Hurst leaves or he just doesn't want to be a Bengal anymore. So yeah. And I want to talk about one more legal issue that's been going around right now. I'm not trying to talk about it too much, but Jamar Chase's ex-girlfriend and all that stuff. I'm not going to dig too deep into it because, yeah. So with that being said, Cincinnati Bengals are a great team and a heavy favorite going into the next year. Joe Burrow had one of his best seasons in his young career. Jamar Chase, even though he was injured, still had 1,000 yards. T. Higgins still had 1,000 yards. Tyler Boyd was on the brink of eclipsing 1,000 yards. He had big games like against the Falcons. He had big games. T. Higgins had big games like against the Steelers and the Titans. Jamar Chase had big games, like against the Bills in the divisional round. And I feel like when the time comes, this year will be our year. I've talked about it multiple times that I believe that this Cincinnati team is great. And the Bengals have high expectations going into this new season. We have a lot of draft capital that we will use. We used to upgrade last year and the year before, drafting Jamar Chase, and a lot of other players. But I do believe this draft we will be drafting more of the offensive side, more of offensive linemen. And if you ask me, I'm a Bengals fan. I believe that they should probably take a lineman at least 4 rounds, and that's a lot. Obviously, we could also trade down for more spots. We could trade down in the first round. We could trade down in the 3rd round. Whatever round needs to be to get an offensive lineman that will succeed, we'll do it. I believe we'll do it. With that being said, this Cincinnati team also needs to do something in free agency. We need to go get offensive linemen. We need to go get corners. We need to go get that depth, because when Jesse Bates leaves, because I'm not even, Jesse Bates is going to leave. Von Bell is looking like he's going to leave. So it's going to be left. I say we go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He played for the Eagles. And we go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And then we go get, then we have Dax Hill, who we drafted last year. This duo, if Dax Hill really works this offseason and what C.J. Gardner-Johnson did for the Eagles last year, it's going to be like we never lost
Jesse Bates and Von Bell. And I know that's a lot to say because they're two phenomenal players. They're still basically in their prime, and they still got at least 2 or 3 good years left in them. But you know, I just believe that this team can do a lot of great things in the offseason, and I believe that they will do a lot of great things in the offseason. Just all right, yeah. And like I said, also in my last video, the Golden State Warriors. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about them right now. I know I'm the Cincy guy. Yeah. That being said, this offseason, I'm going to be keeping you guys tuned, and then the draft is literally next month, so I'll be updating you guys on that. So thanks for watching. This is your Cincy guy. Peace.